Hi everyone, welcome back to a new art tutorial. So today I wanted to try a black and white ink art piece. So what I'm going to do is just do a abstract ink style background, and then I want to kind of do some drawings on top. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to show you all the different steps today. So I'm using Yuppie paper again, my favourite paper for ink art. I'll put all the links in the bio below. And then I'm also using a couple of different inks. So I've got Adirondack Alcohol ink in Pitch Black by Tim Holtz here, and then I've got Pinata White Blanco by Jacques Ward. So I really want just a soft flow background to be able to draw on top. So what I'm going to start with is just by putting some of the Pitch Black in a cup. Just a couple of drops, and then isopropyl, now the black, sometimes when you add isopropyl, looks like it kind of turns this greenish bluish tint sometimes. So it's usually because it's made with India ink, which is not a true black, but it's like a very dark green. So that's why sometimes it can look greeny or bluey. It's the same with like tattoo ink, it does the same kind of thing. But yeah, I don't mind that kind of look. I guess you could probably try and find a different ink if you wanted it pitch black. But yeah, today that's just why it looks like that. So I'm just gonna sort of pour a bit on the page, and I want it quite dark. So yeah, it is already looking quite greenish. That's fine, I don't mind that. So I'm just going to move that along the page, kind of cover the whole page really. Just cover all the little bits. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of add it from concentrate. And I'll just add some of the white as I'm going along too. I'll just give this a shape. Move that around. I'm just going to use, this is just isopropyl in here, and I'm just going to spray a bit of that on. Just to get it reacting. Just trying to get the ink, the black ink, moving a bit. A little bit of white here. And up here. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it for now. So we'll see what it looks like once it dries, and I'll see what I want to do over the top. Okay, so I've let it dry. It's dried quite nice actually. It's got some really cool effects on there. And there might be like bits that I probably want to cut off. But yeah, I'm gonna just see how I get on with it at the minute. I quite like it sort of this way up, so I might work with it on this way at the minute. And I like this kind of swirl we've got here, so I might just play on that. So what I'm going to do next is I've got this fine liner pen, and basically, again, I'll put the link in the bio. So it's sort of like a fine liner, but you have the paint in this section here, and then you've got a really fine nib at the top here. So I use it to do detailed parts of paintings. So what you do is you unscrew the lid here, and you fill this section with paint. I usually mix some white acrylic paint with a little bit of pouring medium and a little bit of water, and you basically want it kind of like the consistency of soup. I'll show you here on my hand. It needs to be like liquid enough to pour, but not too liquidy that it's just like water. So I would just use a bit of trial and error, but as long as it pours well and it's got enough coverage in it, enough good opacity in it, then you should be fine. And I would just test it on a sheet, or a black sheet, or a dark coloured sheet, just to see if you like the consistency of it. So this bit here is slightly squeezy, so you use this bit to sort of squeeze to let the paint out the other end. So it doesn't need too much pressure, but you just squeeze it slightly and it will start to draw. So it's a really good product. I would definitely recommend it. It takes a bit of time getting used to, but once you've got it down, it's great for adding lots of little details in paintings like these. So instead of using like a white biro, white pen, you can actually use acrylic paint, and you can put any colour in here, and it's really easy to wash out. And the lid comes with this pin in it, so you can pop that in the top of the nib, and that keeps the paint from drying out in this bit. You want to, as best as you can, work from left to right, because otherwise you're just getting your hand in all the paint, unless you're left-handed, and then you want to do right to left. So let's just get started and do a few lines. So I'm just going to start up here. Again, don't worry if it's not looking exactly how you imagined. It's just, at the beginning it's kind of trial and error, and I made quite a few mistakes practicing these kind of things. And if you've got a thick bit of paint, you can kind of just drag it along without actually squeezing the bottle. So that's always quite handy to try. And I am just kind of making this shape up as I go along. But if you want to have a specific template, then just print something off or have something on your phone next to you whilst you're doing it, just so that you can kind of remember what the pattern is. So I'm probably just going to do a little bit of a time lapse now, so that you can just sort of see the picture as a whole. So just to talk a little bit about the pattern, I've kind of just made it up, but what I do like to do is kind of use the little sections that have edges and draw around them and kind of use them to be incorporated into part of the pattern. So obviously this bit I've made up, but like little bits here, like accentuating the pattern that's up here with the ink, and then maybe also just sort of bringing in some of this section here, because it's got some really nice patterns, and then I can kind of create a pattern from it and integrate it into this section here. So I'm just going to do a bit of that, in this section here. I quite like this as it is, this light bit up here, so I'm going to leave this bit and just work on this darker bit here. So I'm probably going to stop there just because I don't want to overdo it right now. But that is the tutorial for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you will give it a go as well. If you enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you all soon with a new art video. Thanks for watching. Bye!